Good rising, brethren. This is Big Judah coming to you guys from California. Before I begin, give all praises to the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother, who is wisdom, who is the Holy Spirit. Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. And pray that the Most High blesses this lesson this evening, gives more knowledge and understanding of the events of the past, in order to understand the events that are currently happening on the earth, so we may get a much better understanding of the things that are soon to come on the earth. Brethren, I want to thank everyone who's been donating and giving us the opportunity as a nation to acquire some of these books that are very expensive, but the knowledge that is contained in them is absolutely breathtaking. I'm not going to tell you which year this is from just yet, but let's just say that this Bible is over 200 years old. And, trying to get some that are actually in pretty good shape so that we could study together. And it just confirms what the Holy Spirit has already been showing us. I've been talking about how many of the prophecies in the Bible, in the scriptures, have already taken place. This older Bible already tells you that. But see, now we're going to understand as to why they were taking out books, taking out information, making it very difficult to ascertain, this information. And this one is an absolutely huge piece of the puzzle right here. Now, when you look at the regular Bibles of today, you got many that have 66 books, some that have 80. Now, this even goes with the people, that are even in the Hebrew Israelite nation that say that they go with the 80 books, but they have to understand that the Apocrypha wasn't written right now like it was back then. As I showed you before in the other older Bible that I have, that it actually has precepts in it. Well, the red one that we commonly use does not have very many precepts or any precepts at all. These two Bibles here have many precepts. And I'm going to show you some more pretty crazy things later on. But I only wanted to concentrate on this little part right here, because I've already talked about how our people have already gone through all of these different prophecies, destruction, curses already. See, the Gentiles have made it seem as if this is something that's going to happen in the future. They're still talking about the Jewish people building a third temple. They're talking about an Antichrist coming on the scene later on. And this Antichrist is then going to do the abomination of desolation in the future, after these so-called Christians here, are raptured away. They don't have to go through anything. They don't have to see anything. They don't have to see any hard times. That's what good times Jesus has given them. That's the mindset that good times Jesus gives them. But let me show you. They admit to it right here that the abomination of desolation has already happened. And then what they do is they give it to you hundreds of years ago. Hey, this is way before we were still enslaved for many more decades. That's how old this Bible is. So they would let the truth seep out if someone wanted to read it. But yeah, that's why they did not allow our people to read. Now it makes much more sense. Check this part out right here. Before every chapter in the Apocrypha here, you actually have like a little breakdown of what's going on in that chapter. The older Bibles, like, my other one is like 1830s, something around there. It doesn't have this little breakdown. So like I said, they're very, deceptive in how they take out little pieces here and there over time. So by the time we were about to wake up, we can have the Apocrypha, but then the churches said we don't accept that. So therefore, many of our own people are like, well, the churches don't accept it, so I'm not going to accept it. Well, they'll let you have the Apocrypha, but then they took out all of these little breakdowns here. They took out all of the precepts on the sides. So now it's just left open to interpretation. And you already know how these Gentiles are. That's what they're the king of. They're the king of just making up stuff. They just make up their own interpretations and give it to you as a fact. And that's what's happened to many people in our nation. They're so used to listening to these Gentiles break everything down for them. They came into the truth, and then they pretty much just absorbed and continued on with the apocalyptic breakdown of the Gentiles, which is absolutely wrong. I mean, it's ridiculous because there's nothing to prove any of the stuff that they're saying. It's just nothing but their opinions. But then they want us to explain every single thing piece by piece and break it into scriptures, and they can't do that with any of the stuff that they say. Take a look at this part right here. Antiochus gave leave to set up the fashions of the Gentiles in Jerusalem, and spoiled it, and the temple in it, and set up therein the abomination of desolation, and slew those that did circumcise their children. So letting you know already that the abomination of desolation has already happened, and it was something that was actually perpetrated on our people by the Greeks. So just because they don't want to have to try to explain that away, they take out parts. They take out the precepts. They take out this little breakdown right here, and then eventually just take out the entire Apocrypha. Even though there are other people in the scriptures referring to the Apocrypha. So if it was good enough for the apostles, I guess that's not good enough for the churches today. The churches today, I guess, know way more and are way more qualified than the apostles of the Most High. You see, these Gentiles have pretty much raised themselves up to take the place of our people. And they're the ones that want to dictate what's good doctrine and what's not. Not the people that were already living back then. But they raised themselves up to be the ones that are going to tell you the truth. This was just one little part, of this older Bible. I said it's over a couple hundred years old. When the knowledge, understanding was, hey, they just don't let them read. We'll leave the stuff in the books because it's too much work taking it out. We'll leave all this stuff in here. I said, but as time went on and we got closer and closer to our awakening, they started taking out more and more, different parts of the Bible, more books, more understanding, so that they could just make it up as they go. Since they were raised up to be on top, pretty much if they just said something, we would believe it because, we were under that spell as well, and we didn't question anything. But as you start going back further and further, and you said, I want to say thank you again to the nation because, plenty of people have been helping, and I'm just showing you how, the money, we pulling our money together and our resources together, and we're bringing this information out, I said, for the whole nation to see. Most people are sitting here fighting over just looking at these books. These books, I said, are very important to getting the proper understanding of what was going on back then and what's going on right now. Now, since if people haven't seen something like this, they can push out after the tribulation. So no, after the rapture, after you guys who have gone to these churches that are now all closed, and the Most High is not dealing, not letting you go into these churches anymore. Yeah, I guess that shows you how much power these churches really have. But anyways, they still think they've been pushing the people who've been going to these churches, worshiping good times Jesus, were going to get raptured away. And then the Antichrist is going to show up after that. And then after that, the Jewish people were going to build the third temple again. Then after that, the Antichrist is going to go in to that third temple and pronounce himself as like God here on earth. And then they're going to slay like a pig, or they're going to, desolate the altar, or, you know what I'm saying? So and as long as you don't see this, and as long as you just believe everything that they say and you don't study for yourself, you would believe that. Billions of people on this earth still believe that. Even though right now, the Most High is giving people opportunity to hear the truth, the ones that He's called. And I'm going to be able to show you so many other things shortly. But right here, you can see. They're already talking about the abomination of desolation happening during the time of the Maccabees. Now it makes sense as to why they had to get rid of these books. I'll be bringing more to you guys shortly, but I just got this one recently, and I wanted to make sure I brought it to you because it's that important. So if they've shown you, if I've shown you right here that they've already talked about the Abomination of Desolation already happening, and they wanted to hide that, so they just got rid of that out of all the books, and then eventually just got rid of the books altogether. And then they call it a year, was it 400 years of silence, because they don't want to show you that many of the prophecies that we were supposed to go through as Hebrews, we've already gone through. Much of the destruction that we were supposed to go through, we've already gone through. This is talking about primarily the southern kingdom having to go through this, but the northern kingdom went through destruction as well. And what did they do with that? They hid all that information too, just like in the video I showed you guys earlier. So now you understand why they're hiding everything, so that then they can continue to just come up with their own narrative for everything. And then that also plays into the days of Noah at the end, because people don't understand that the Most High's children have already gone through most of these plagues already. And that the Most High is about to switch the cup from us to them. They don't know that because their churches have lied to them. The churches have hidden all this information. But now at the end, it's time for the Most High to bring all of this out. And that's exactly what he's doing right now. All praise is to the Most High, Yahweh. The acknowledgement to the earthly mother, who is wisdom, who is Holy Spirit. Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. Shalom.